The sacred ritual of marapu in Sumba, East Nusa Tenggara has existed since ancient times. Sumba is part of a group of islands formerly known as the Lesser Sunda, consisting of Bali, Lombok, Sumba, Flores and Timor. Before the arrival of religion to the land of Sumba, brought by European immigrants, the indigenous people adhered to marapu, namely a local belief that worships the ancestors. Marapu comes from two words, namely ma and rapu. Ma means young while rapu means respected, worshipped and deified. So marapu refers to something that is respected, worshipped and deified. The people of Sumba call their ancestors marapu. In the cosmology of the Sumbanese people, the universe consists of three layers, namely the upper, sky, middle, earth, and lower, inside the earth. The god of the marapu is believed to live in the sky, which consists of 8 cone-shaped layers. The top area is the narrowest, while the bottom area is wider. The first layer is called Awangu Walu Andani. Marapu lives together in the first to sixth layers. In the sixth layer, Marapu Tera Hau Lulu Weu forged gold to make the moon and sun so that the place became bright. The marapu then went down to the seventh and then the eighth or last tier. At the bottom layer they saw a very wide plain, but it was still water, so it could not be used as a place to live. The marapu were allowed to live on the new plain by first spreading stones and soil. The stones and soil that were sown transformed into large and small islands so that they could be lived in. Then, using Penanggu Bahi and Penanggu Atu, iron stairs and stone terraces, they descended to the land called Malacca Tanah. The marapu are considered the ancestors of the Sumba people. When the marapu had not yet descended to earth, the relationship between humans and gods was direct. However, when marapu came to live on earth, the relationship immediately broke down. Communication can only occur through the intermediary of ancestral spirits, namely the marapu who are believed to live with the gods. Through marapu, humans can ask for help to be conveyed to the gods, and through marapu the gods also send messages or answers to these requests. In this sense, the marapu belief cults the spirits of ancestors as intermediaries to worship gods. Worship of marapu is considered to bring salvation and vice versa. If marapu is not worshipped, then disaster will arise. People use several sacred objects when performing rituals for the marapu, usually made of gold and believed to contain ancestral spirits. Therefore, this object is considered to be marapu itself and is an object of worship. Other objects in the ritual are jewelry for display. Apart from ceremonial objects, there are also ceremonial tools, including containers made from woven palm leaves, coconut shells, earthen pots, and others. Offerings are also offered during the ritual, usually in the form of betel nut, chicks, goats and large four-legged animals, such as cows, horses and buffalo. This offering is a means of supplication to the marapu. One of the ceremonies in the marapu concept is death. There are several processes in the death ceremony, starting from waking, burying, to sending them to the land of their ancestors. According to belief, those who die will return to their ancestral land. Therefore, the corpse must be kept in a downward position, resembling the condition it was in when it was in the womb. Awakening means making the soul return to the body, so that it can be given betel nut and food. Then an accompanying servant, pahapagangu, is also prepared, namely a sacrificed horse whose meat is only given to dogs and pigs, after which the corpse is guarded while the gong is sounded day and night as a sign of mourning. Before the funeral ceremony, the family must prepare the grave first. The original graves of the Sumba people consist of round holes. After being lowered into the hole, the body was covered with a small round stone followed by a larger stone. Then it is protected by a large rock supported by 4 stone rods as legs. These footed graves were used by nobles because they were expensive. Meanwhile, ordinary people only need to cover their graves with large stones. Burying a corpse can be done quickly or for a long time, for example 2 to 6 months, even years to decades. Before burial, the body is kept in one of the rooms of the house or buried temporarily but without ceremony. When the time for burial approaches, the family will give invitations to related parties according to the results of family deliberations. This process is carried out by paying attention to the invitation procedures according to custom. After the invitees arrived, they were welcomed by the traditional ceremony. The invitees will hand over the items they bring according to the provisions. For example, the corpse's uncle gives 2 pieces of kombu cloth or sumba sarong. Apart from requiring an animal to be sacrificed, this burial also requires gold to be buried with the body. The more objects that are brought, the more honorable the position of the body in nature becomes. A few days after the funeral, the entire family and neighbors are invited again to join in the closing period of mourning. The family expressed their gratitude by distributing the remaining belongings. The sound of the gong also stopped. Then, finally, a ceremony is carried out to accompany the spirit to its destination country. Families will pray with media in the form of chicken, pork or buffalo liver.